let's run this screen pass to Le'Veon. He's in New York now. Okay, Antonio, go deep. He's in New England now. Okay, I'll do it myself. Here we go, hike. All right, here we go. I see you. Oh, my elbow. Oh. All right, boys, listen up. Today we get revenge against the Rams and the rest for that blown PI call last year. We're going to break up this play right now. We're going to have some great offense today. All right, break it up. Let's go. All right, I'm ready. Hey, here we go. Dropping back. Oh, and high five. Oh, my thumb. I'm going to shoot you straight, fellas. My foot hurts. Well, looks like I lost my job to the rookie, but who else can say they beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl? Welcome everybody to week 3 Kleschka Picks, where I guess the winners and scores each and every week of the NFL season. I have no bias. I'm not trying to hate on anybody's teams. Just wanted to say that before we get started. Now, let's go. The Jaguars and the Titans, they are the Thursday night game. Okay, the Jaguars, they actually played a close game against the Texans. The Texans ended up coming out with the victory, and I thought the Jaguars were done for against the Texans, but hey, their young rookie QB wasn't actually completely terrible, and he kept them in the game. And then the Colts beat the Titans, which was also surprising to me. I thought the Titans were going to have that one easy, but the Colts were like, just because Andrew Luck retired on us right before the season doesn't mean we're going to be those punks that every NFL team is going to beat up on. However, between the Jaguars and the Titans, I think the better team is the Titans. I think they're more put together, and even though Jacksonville, kept it close against Houston, I don't think they're going to be able to do that each and every week, especially now that they have Jalen Ramsey, who's been talking his mouth and wants out of Jacksonville. He wants to be traded, but he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm here, so I'm fully committed, but he doesn't want to be there. And you lost Nick Foles already. So I think Tennessee, the Titans, will get the victory, 24-16. Next we have the Dolphins and the Cowboys. The Dolphins got an absolute goose egg on the scoreboard last week against the Patriots. Antonio Brown already scored his first touchdown in his first game with the Patriots. Of course that would happen. And then the Cowboys, they beat the Redskins. Dak was looking good again. Zeke, he's Zeke, so he does great running back things, and I think it's going to be an easy win for the Cowboys, just like it was for the Patriots. I think it's going to be high scoring for the Cowboys, not so much for the Dolphins, but hey, I think they're going to get points on the board this time. I don't think they'll get shut out. I think the Cowboys will win 41-10. Bills and Bengals, 2-0 versus 0-2. Surprising 2-0 start for the Buffalo Bills. They've been playing very well to start the season. Bengals have not been playing very well. Of course, they did get a loss that probably shouldn't have happened, or at least they should have had another chance in Seattle. I was okay with it because I'm a Seahawks fan, but yeah, that probably was not a fumble. And then they played the 49ers, and the 49ers absolutely wrecked the Bengals. Bills got a win against the Giants. I think the Bills are the better team. The Bengals just look like they're going to have a downhill season. I don't see any playoff hopes for them. I don't think it's going to be an easy season. I think it's going to be a rough season for the Bengals and Bengals fans. I think the Bills will beat the Bengals 27-20. Patriots and Jets. The Patriots absolutely destroyed the Dolphins offensively and defensively. And the Jets, man, how much more bad luck could they get? They've already had one quarterback go down with mono, that being Sam Darnold, and then Trevor Siemian was going to be his backup. He was going to start for him, and then Trevor Siemian already out for the year in that game against the Browns. Then it went to Luke Falk, who is now their quarterback. And do you know who their emergency quarterback is? They said this during the game. Le'Veon Bell is their emergency quarterback. Of course, I do not wish injury upon anybody, but how cool would it be to see Le'Veon Bell just be under center, like shotgun, and take snaps and throw passes? That would be insane. Okay, anyways, I think we all know the Patriots are a much better team than the Jets, especially for how low in their depth chart they are for quarterback. Now, I think the Patriots are gonna explode with offense, just like they did against the Dolphins, this time against the Jets, 34-13. Falcons and Colts. We talked about how the Colts got a win over the Titans when I certainly expected the Titans to beat them. But anyways, the Falcons, they certainly turned their week 1 a 180 into week 2. They were terrible in week 1, and then in week 2, they got a last minute, was it in the last minute? It was the last, yeah, it was late in the game. Julio Jones got a game-winning 54-yard touchdown to secure the victory for the Falcons. It was a very good game offensively for the Falcons compared to week 1, and I think they're going to have another good game offensively. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Falcons will win 23-21. Vikings and Raiders. Raiders. The Raiders lost to the Chiefs. Anyone that plays the Chiefs is most likely going to lose this year. And the Vikings, they lost to the Packers. So, two teams that lost last week, and I think the team that is going to win this week is the Vikings, and that is purely because I think they have better all-around talent. Kirk Cousins is a decent QB, and then Dalvin Cook is really showing his talent this year. He's got great receivers, he being Kirk Cousins, and Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, so I think all around they're a better team, offensively and defensively. So I think the Vikings are going to beat the Raiders 27-17. Ravens and Chiefs, like I said, Patrick Mahomes last week and his Chiefs, they went off against the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes was doing Patrick Mahomes things. Demarcus Robinson had a hell of a game. Like how Sammy Watkins was in week 1? Yeah, Demarcus Robinson week 2, buddy. Who's it going to be in week 3? Each receiver seems to keep to having a huge game. It's like one receiver each week. It's just exploding with offense and yards. And then we have the Ravens, where Lamar Jackson is starting off very well this year. He is showing his talent. He's proving people wrong. I think this is going to be a good game, but I think the Chiefs are one of the best teams in football, so it's going to be tough to beat them. I think the Chiefs will win 20-17. Packers and Broncos. The Broncos lost on a game-winning field goal from the Bears kicker, Pinheiro. And the Packers, they started off high. Aaron Rodgers started off really good to start the game, and then he kind of slowed down, but hey, they still got the victory. And I think, you know, when you take the Broncos, who have an aging Joe Flacco as their quarterback, and then you have the Packers, who have Aaron Rodgers, a Super Bowl winner, MVP, I think that the Packers are going to win this game with Devontae Adams, a top-tier wide receiver, and they got a decent run game. With Aaron Rodgers just under center, I think the Packers are always in contention for playoffs and just a victory week to week. So I think the Packers are going to beat the Broncos 23-13. The Lions and the Eagles. The Lions pulled out a surprising victory against the Chargers. I thought the Chargers were easily going to win that game, and Darius Slay locked up the victory for them on an interception. Phillip Rivers, dude, you can't let that happen if you're going to win some football games. And then the Eagles, they lost to the Falcons, a battle of the birds right there. And that was due to that Julio Jones touchdown that we talked about. Yeah, both of these teams, well, actually Lions won last week. I was going to say both lost last week. I just was totally expecting, oh yeah, Lions lost last week, but they didn't. They surprised me. Okay, this week I think the Eagles are going to get back on track again like they were in week 1. Alright, so I think the Eagles will win 24-20. Giants and Buccaneers. You also saw that I recreated Eli Manning, what I assumed he would do, when he got replaced by Daniel Jones. Yes, he is no longer the starting quarterback of the Giants. The Buccaneers are off to a terrible start, and I think that's going to continue. Even though this is Daniel Jones' first NFL start, he looked good in exhibition games, and of course those games are nothing to compare to these weekly games where you're actually playing the stars of the team. But I don't know, the Buccaneers are just so cold to me right now that I don't see them beating the Giants, even with a rookie's first game ever. I think Daniel Jones will lead the Giants to victory 17-13. Cardinals and Panthers. The Panthers lost to the Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football last week, where Cam Newton re-aggravated a foot injury, and it's not looking good. It looks like he's probably going to sit out this week. You saw at the beginning when I recreated like the injuries from last week in my own way. Then we have the Cardinals, who lost to the Ravens. Kyler Murray could not get the job done, but it's kind of tough when Lamar Jackson is off to such a hot start. So this week, I think the Cardinals are going to win. Without Cam Newton, I just don't see the Panthers beating the Cardinals, and Kyler Murray looks like he's slowly getting used to the NFL, and he's just molding his way into playing football professionally. So I think the Cardinals are going to beat the Panthers 24-20. The Saints and the Seahawks. Now this would be a very close game, except Drew Brees, which I also recreated in the beginning, got injured. Aaron Donald gave him probably the world's hardest high five, and that broke his thumb. Broke or fractured his thumb. He couldn't even pick up a football. That's how bad it was. He couldn't even grip one, so he was definitely not coming back in. It's been announced that he's going to be out for at least 6 weeks. My goodness, how hard did Aaron Donald hit his hand? Must have been very hard. My Seahawks, yes, they came away with the victory last week. DK Metcalf securing that game-winning touchdown. And in that game, Ben Roethlisberger got injured. I recreated that. We'll talk about that more when we get to Pittsburgh's game. But what a game that I thought would be close. I will no longer say it's going to be close. I don't think it will be without Drew Brees being the quarterback for the Saints. The Seahawks are off to a 2-0 start, and they're looking good. So I think without Drew Brees, it'll be an easy win for the Seahawks, winning 30-17. Texans and Chargers. The Texans barely got a victory last week over the Jaguars. We mentioned that. And the Chargers, they just did not get a victory. It's Philip Rivers. He threw an interception trying to get the lead again, and that cost them, and they lost the game. I think the Texans are a younger, more talented team. You have J.J. Watt on that defensive line, and I know he can't carry a whole defense, but J.J. Watt alone is a scary defensive player, and of course they're going to double team him, possibly triple team him. But he is a monster. He's won Defender of the Year, so clearly this dude has talent on defense. He is an absolute train wreck. He will get through whoever you put in front of him. Of course, sometimes he will be stopped, but like I said, dude is a monster. Deshaun Watson is very, very good. He is young and talented. He has one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in football, in DeAndre Hopkins. And then you got Philip Rivers, who is a veteran quarterback. I wouldn't say he's aging yet. I think he still has plenty of talent and can lead this team to the playoffs. He's got Keenan Allen, who's very talented. You have the whole running back situation with Melvin Gordon, but it looks like that hasn't really affected them. Austin Eckler has been fine without Melvin Gordon running the football for Los Angeles. However, I think the Texans are the better football team, and I think they will get the victory. I think it's going to be close. I think the Texans will win 26-23. Steelers and 49ers. You saw that I recreated Ben Roethlisberger's injury. It does not look good for the Steelers this season. Ben Roethlisberger is out for the season. He threw a pass to his left and immediately grabbed his elbow. It's not good for Big Ben. They're going to have Mason Rudolph starting, who has some experience, but of course he is no Ben Roethlisberger. And they just traded for Minka Fitzpatrick on defense, but that's not going to solve this problem. There's just a lot of problems going on in Pittsburgh right now. Injuries, what they had to deal with Le'Veon and Antonio. Juju trying to be the #1 receiver. He's trying to step up into that role. James Conner got banged up last week, but the 49ers, let's shift our focus to them. They're 2-0. They are looking impressive, especially last week against the Bengals. I think with the state that Pittsburgh's in, this is going to be a victory for San Francisco. I think the 49ers will win 27-19. Almost forgot, guys, the Rams and Browns. The Browns, they beat the Jets last week. They really showed their talent can do good things. And the Rams, they got a victory over the Saints in that rematch. I think the Rams have the better overall team. I think they're going to win this game 30-17. Bears and Redskins. We saw the Redskins lose to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott has just looked very impressive this year, so it was very difficult for the Redskins to get a victory out of that one with how well Dak is playing, and the fact that Zeke, after holding out for so long, was there week 1, and he was there week 2, and he's just doing Ezekiel Elliott things. And then the Bears, they won on a game-winning field goal by Pinheiro. I think the Bears got a better defense, and I think their offense can run a little better, although Case Keenum had a hot start for the Redskins. I just think the defense is going to slow the Redskins down, and I think the Bears are going to get the victory 24-13. Alright, hey everybody, thank you for watching Kleschka Picks Week 3, Season 4. If you made it to the end of this video, leave your score predictions down below and your winners. And if you get one right, let me know. If I get one right, let me know, because it's hard for me to keep up with all the scores and remember if I guessed it right or not. There's so many games, and I got school, and I got work, so all of that, it's hard for me to be like, oh, I guessed that one. But it's sometimes, like last year, people let me know that I guessed it right. So thank you to you who tell me when I guess one right. Alright, thank you all so much. Like the video, subscribe, tell your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your pets, your friends, and everybody you know, and I will see you next time.